kind of mood am I in today? I'm gonna be talking. So I'm tired. Still tired. Still saying dumb things. With a little wisdom in them. Still gonna go off on a sophomore rant. Alright. Dallas weather. Last night it was like somebody pissed off Mother Nature. Never seen that much rain in my life. I mean, as far as coming down, I've seen lots of flooding. What makes a person watch one of my videos? Thank God it's not for me. So what I do is I take these pictures, and folks that lived in this region, they leave, and they're actually kind of homesick. And I guess I could see it, because I call it boring Dallas, but it's not necessarily a rip on Dallas. It's sometimes boring can be a good thing. Boring is safe. Boring is the fertile ground from which imagination is spawned. When you got nothing to do, you come up with something. So you come down here, and there's a restaurant you liked, and we got chicken and rice, and I haven't had it in such a long time, but it was just one of those great little greasy spoon joints that you pick up some chicken fingers and some cheap ass rice and eat it. We got a pizza Patron, which is like cheap Latino pizza. Little hole in the wall clubs that charge too much for drinks and charge too much for cover, and yet people just like to hang out there together. We're not sophisticated. We're interesting like New York, but we don't have to be. Dallas is where you come when you kind of think you might be able to work into a practical life. At least it used to be. Now Dallas is too expensive and stupid to be practical. You got some folks that come in here and want to make it a little bit more sophisticated, or make it a lot more sophisticated, and they're messing it up. And then you got people who overpay for a lot of things like housing. I always have a budget plan on what I'm going to spend on certain things. And I'll be damned if the city every time doesn't make, it's like I'm always under. Trying to get a tree removed. And so far I can't find anybody, and everybody seems to be saying the same universal thing. $1,300, $1,300. I had budgeted for $1,000. When I did the repairs on the house after the storm knocked out the tree, I paid about $3,900, almost basically $40 away from paying $4 grand to get it all fixed. I had budgeted for about $2,500, and I had the funds. It's just that $4,000 hurts a whole lot more than $2,500. $1,300 hurts a little bit more than $1,000. I'll probably wind up ponying up the dough and just get the tree knocked down. About that size. It's that size of a pecan tree, and it's dangerously close to a power line, and I don't want this to happen again. I had budgeted for a house. I thought I'll pay $150,000, and houses they're asking double that. wanted a condo. I said, surely I can get a condo for 80 grand. You can get a condo for 150,000 plus pay $500 a month for HOA. And you know what? There's nowhere else to run in America. Like, you know, you think, well, maybe I'll just go to a small town somewhere. Well, the small towns, they're still paying too much for houses too. A friend of mine that I work out with, he talks about Missoula, Montana. And I find myself clicking to do research. Could I live in a cold weather state? I was like, I could probably live anywhere if I had to. All I'm talking about is want to. Sure, there's some folks that live here in Dallas that make it unbearable, domestic and foreign, but it's the devil I know. My biggest problem is crime. That's why I made the statement before. It's a miracle that you can get through life without killing somebody. Because I've lived in a lot of bad neighborhoods. I live in a progressively bad neighborhood, and I've been to a lot of bad neighborhoods. And I'm like, how can you get by without killing somebody for trying to steal your property? Or messing you around? And the answer is, you start learning being a little bit less uptight about things. You start learning about what you're willing to sacrifice. Stolen things can be replaced. It's annoying, I know. You think about the principle and fairness, and then you realize that when you live in these poor areas, that fairness is a luxury. A lot of us aren't going to be getting. You would like if people would leave you alone, but they won't. You are constantly being watched. That's the other thing that kind of spooks me, man. I keep saying it on every video, is I walk these streets and everybody notices. Good or bad, they notice. When it's established that I'm not a threat, then I become something of a mild curiosity. What does he do? Where does he go? Why does he do this? Why aren't I doing this? I don't know the answer to a lot of those questions. I think sometimes, evening. I think sometimes I was having that Forrest Gump situation. I did suffer a heartbreak before I started doing this, but there's a bunch of other things too. You can either go to Margaritaville every night or you can run. I chose to run. Although lately I've been taking trips to Margaritaville and it's not too bad. Maybe I'll have a margarita next week. Man, that sounds good. Finish off my my El Timador. I didn't think that tequila would go over so well. I bought silver and gold and I got half a bottle left of each. Almost out of vodka too. And I guess I plowed through the Tanqueray. I don't even like the gin, but it's so citrusy. It's great when you're making citrus drinks. Like gin and juice and juice and Tanqueray, great combo. Lemon drops with Tanqueray, or I don't know what they call it. Lemon drop, yes, vodka, but I don't know what you call a gin. Lemon drink. Everybody's got so many names. It's got the same mixer, but it's got a different alcohol. Anyway, the guy from Missoula, what he tells me is nobody wants to spend more than $500,000 on a house. So you can't sell a house for more than that, or even close to that. So it's weird that there's kind of like some asymptotic behavior in housing prices. So everybody tries to get the house to lean as close as they can to $450,000 and inch up a little bit more after that. I can understand that maybe for the new houses, new big houses. I can't understand that for an old house. Must be watching the Rockets. Are they playing? I know the Stars got beaten. I won't say they got beat, I said they lost. And that was a heartbreaker. Double overtime. And it just, puck popped up and dude slammed it in there. And I was just like, man, that was a freak. Like, damn it. They got caught napping. They got caught, they were tired. They were tired. Two 7-game series as the wild card underdog. As young as Dallas is, even they wore out. Like they wasted the entire third period just being tired. The Blues are just out shooting them like crazy. And then it looked like they were gonna they found a spark in overtime. And they had 2 good shots on goal, and one of them, it went right by the line but wouldn't go in, and I was just like, son of a bitch. The puck skittered but did not cross. Somebody actually got their fireplace on, huh? And then there was another where the net was wide open, but it bounced off in a fortuitous way to where the guy couldn't knock it into the empty space. And just Dallas's bounce went bad, St. Louis's bounce went good. One of them's probably going to get crushed by the Avalanche. So that was the thing. Even if they had won the series, they had to play a 7-game series with the Colorado Avalanche. And boy, I used to remember that. It was always that bad history. Two teams that the All-Stars never seemed to get past in the 90s were the Detroit Red Wings and the Colorado Avalanche. The nasty rivalry with the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't know why Chicago hated the Dallas Stars, maybe, but then I was looking at it, I was like, I think they hated everybody. I don't think I'm gonna see anybody tonight. Like I said, I didn't think I was gonna see anybody last night at Bachman. You're talking about the illusion of freedom? Yeah. You find it in low places, but it's not exactly a feature that you can have turned on 24/7. So I'm going to change those light outs now. Somebody's smoking. I couldn't even say that's one habit I wouldn't pick up, but I just don't like the taste of cigarette ash. Me and stimulants, I really don't eat much. Nicotine's a little bit more powerful. It's a little too powerful of a stimulant that I would use. Hell, caffeine makes me makes my heart beat funny. Just the slightest bit of caffeine, and all of a sudden I feel like Superman. Oh. Oh, this is the same fellow that was living here with the Dobermans. I keep forgetting how much time has passed. Like, I thought SpongeBob had been around for about 10 years. I look on the internet and it says, SpongeBob, been on the air for 20 years. I was like, what? Pokemon's been on the air for over 20 years. I was like, at this point, Ash would have been a middle-aged man. That means the voice actress has been doing it for 20. I was like, what does that feel like? I was like, at that point, are you the character? Are you bored with the character? You know, does it just become a job? It's worse when your character has a catchphrase. 20 years of uttering a catchphrase. Not just in the microphone at the studio. On tours, at conventions. You're at a party with your friend. Hey man, do the voice. Do the voice. And you're sitting there yelling spoon. You're a 50, 60-year-old man yelling spoon. People just looking at you. Oh, you're the guy who does that voice in the thing. That's if they've heard of you. If they haven't, you're just a weird guy yelling spoon. Jason Alexander, though, he got the best catch. His character had the best catchphrase. Duckman was like, what the hell are you staring at? At least then you could just say, oh, that's just New York rudeness. It's like, no, he's not being rude. That was the character he played on TV. I was like, oh. Duckman was greatness, and yet I can't. There's no box sets. I don't know if they're like multiple people on the rights, or I have a hard time believing they would just let that show disappear. The artwork was just so bizarre. Everett Peck, man. Guys with big rhombozoid heads, noses that didn't look like they fit on the face, women with, you know, geometrical triangular boobs. It was just like he was doing, I guess, isometric, whatever they call it, polygonal characters before video games made them commonplace. That's why I kind of found it hard to believe that Everett Peck never did the illustrations or the artwork on a video game. I thought, man, that'd be a perfect medium for him. But I don't even know if the guy's still working on stuff. Endless construction has come to my old high school. Construction double cross. Sometimes I thought what they would do is like add another layer, or they used to have all these ESOL wings, and I was like, why don't they just build an entire ESO, you know, one that's permanent? And then I keep forgetting that separate but unequal is the law of the land. There's ways to get around this stuff in America. So many loopholes. Cosmetically, some things have changed, and even in some little ways, some things have changed. But we're still. It's like he's got a 200-year cramp that just America needs to massage out. Legally, you can date someone of a different race. Socially, you're still going to get assholes prodding you about it. Legally, you're not supposed to discriminate. Commercially and politically and everything else, you can still do it in covert ways. Sometimes not even covert ways. That's why, like I said, a lot of people are mad about Trump, but I was just like, I was beaming ear to ear, man. I love that man. I can't get enough of him. Because he is America's truth serum. He is America's mirror. He is the real deal. It's like, no, we thought we were all this. No, you guys aren't that at all. You aren't even close. It's like, do I need to bring Uncle Don out here again? Uncle Don runs the country. Uncle Don still signs the paychecks, and Uncle Don still owns the house that you live in. And Uncle Don got tired of being marginalized on Thanksgiving, so he decided, I'm going to run this. I'm going to run everything. He let everybody know that he's still in charge. Uncle Don is reality to those who live in a delusional fantasy. America's society is schizophrenic. Donald Trump is the reality that keeps you from seeing the figments. Hell, I'm hoping he gets reelected. Like I said, I love that man. He does more damage than any of America's enemies or political activists could ever do. What does Sun Tzu always say? Don't interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. I don't want anybody to interrupt Trump. I want him to fuck up as much stuff as possible. Because it's rock bottom. You know, you hate to hear people say it, you hate to hear me say it, but America's got to hit rock bottom. This is your president for hitting rock bottom. But I don't think he'll get reelected. I take that back. It depends on what. I just know the Democrats are going to put up somebody without any kind of charisma whatsoever. They think that, I think people have had enough of Trump. I don't think that we have to put up anybody that's strong or likable. I hate both parties. The only difference is one appears to care about you and the other one doesn't care about you at all. They don't actually care about you, they just appear to. So now, is that a cop? probably. Which means somebody's been stealing property. Well, it's time to have a little run-in. Well, sir, you can't be here. I was like, okay. What do you do then? I'm not mad about the whole thing. He's actually doing me a favor. I just don't have the drive in me anymore. Like I said, all the anger that I was using as fuel, I don't have anymore. Now it's just melancholy and disappointment. Just look at it, he's like, this is it, huh? This is as far as I can go by myself. Yeah, did something happen to where they closed it up?
Nah, at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
6 to 8 o'clock. That's it. At 8, everybody got to be gone.
Okay. What do you think that's all about? Yeah, somebody ruined it for somebody. Somebody ruined it for the rest of us. Is it buggy? Nah. But the other one is still open. What do you think? Cop ain't gonna be there forever. He just won't. The only thing, the reason I think he might be there is because they got all that construction equipment over there. Or they might be closing this area off. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking some idiot came over here and fucked something up, or the people around here were like, these people are hanging out late at night. And I was like, alright. It ain't gonna stop me. It just slows me down. I'm just trying to figure out if criminal trespass is a felony or a misdemeanor. Not that it matters. It really doesn't. It shows up on your record either way. Put on a job review. Yeah, I got a conviction for criminal trespass. What was that all about? I was jogging late at night. I went to jog around a public track, only to find out that apparently it's not so public anymore. It's like everybody's got to be out by 8 o'clock, and I can't. The only thing I can think, like I said, is some idiots came over here, or making a lot of loud noise, and the people say, y'all got to do something about that. They got enough money to get the cop over here till about June. I just keep coming over. And when he's not there, run around the track, climb the fence, run around the track. He said, that's what I'm talking about when I mean freedom. Yeah, I can obey the law. I just won't. Fuck it. What if everybody said that? Everybody's pretty much taking that attitude. Like I said, when I was talking about anarchy, we are in flux now. We've got an influx of a lot of people that come in, and either the system has failed them horribly, or they come from an area where there was no system to begin with. And so the rule of law in the United States is just breaking down. That, coupled with the fact that the justice system is a pay-to-play entity now. You gotta lawyer up, and that costs money. If you ain't got the money, you ain't gonna get the justice. So there's a sign on that field that says 6 to 8. Technically, I can get here if I just go through here and just go through the park and everything, but I'm just gonna do my 6 quick. Or I guess it's 12. And I'm gonna go home. But there's no sign on this one that tells me you have to, 6 to 8, you can't be on this field. Like I said, the only thing I could think is there was noise or vandalism. I'd hate to think that this is just good old-fashioned racism, where non-white people were working out on the field and the neighbors around here kicked up a fuss. Sad that you got to still think about that even in 2020. Yeah, there's no sign that says I can't come here. There was a sign, and I guess they got rid of it. That said no pets on the field. I got rid of it. Somebody tore it off. I only went here for 1 year. And like I said, and yet that 1 year was eye-opening. I went to private schools my whole life, and then I come down here, and it was just things that, some of my friends had divorced parents, but I never experienced folks whose parents were never even married to begin with. I never seen anybody who had a family where, seriously, in my old time public private school, I never saw a family where two different kids by two different fathers, and at least one father stuck around. I didn't know women could be so beautiful. Oh my God. I got here after being the girls are cute when I was in private schools, but they pale in comparison to public school girls. You find those diamonds in the rough, man. We're talking about stack girls at like 14 and 15. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, how old are you? I was thinking that some of these girls got held back a couple of times or something. Damn it. Alright. Where do we begin? It's been so long since I ran on this field. That might be why they're here also, because of the rains. They don't want to tear up the field. All I'm saying is I hope there's a logical reason. Does there have to be? That's why I said hope. No, there doesn't have to be. Nobody doesn't tell you anything. They just tell you to fuck off. It's kind of weird to see ducks over there. It was a fun year. The football team was good. The women were pretty. The experiences were new, were different. And the schoolwork was easy compared to private school. It still had its challenges. Like I had they had me taking a worthless class. It was earth science, and I had to do a science project. And I told her I hate doing science projects. She says, "Well, it's 25% of your gain." I said, I ain't gonna do it, because I was getting hundreds on everything. And so, true to form, I didn't do the science project, and I got a 75, not a 70, out of 68. I was perfect on everything else, and I just sacrificed 25 points to prove a point. I don't even know if kids are forced to do science projects anymore. Some kids, man, you just can't afford it. You're gonna go out and like I'd have to go to the library, and then you had to buy the stuff to do the science experiment. Then you had to buy the stuff to put it on your stupid little board, and that was always a weird thing about that. The regulations say that it has to be this by this by this. So everybody had cookie cutter displays. Sometimes it was the parents getting into it more than the kids, and they'd have their kids' stuff all jazzed up, and it was like, there's no way a kid did that. Some of the experiments were neat. Like one of them had a little electron gun, and all the kids had been messing with it, and so by the time I got to it and I started squeezing the trigger, it was dead. You see, I always got to the science project after the other kids had fucked everything up. My science projects were weird. I had one where it was dishwashing liquid. I had one where my dad made a dam. It was we told him at the last minute, he's sitting there trying to put it together, and I was just like, I hate science projects. I never learned anything doing science projects. You know, now that I'm an adult, I get it. It's like you say, hey, I got a question about something. I got a question about something. And you say, has anyone else had that question? And you see they did an experiment. And it says, yeah, that's kind of like what I was doing, but it's not quite. So then you reform your hypothesis if it's the same, or if it isn't. Go with what you got. Run the experiment. And you had to tell everybody what you did. It's like, I did this, this, this. And then you show them the results. And then you come to your conclusion. Because on the conclusion, my hypothesis was slightly incorrect, fully incorrect. This is what happened. The revised hypothesis is now this. And you had to be kind of, like I said, it's impossible. It's almost impossible in science, but you had to be unbiased when it came to your evaluating your hypothesis. Today's science, unfortunately, is I have an hypothesis. Let's run the experiment. Well, that experiment proved me wrong. Let's run an experiment until it proves me right. There is no revision of the hypothesis. I'm just like, wait, what? Because funding said, hey, this was the original hypothesis. You have to produce results. And so you lie. That's why you can't completely trust the statistics that insurance companies and everybody uses, especially if it wasn't an independent study. Like if they paid for it, they hired the guy to do it, you have to consider there's bias. Where they come up with the phrase, figures never lie, but liars figure. But she's still there. So she is, I think it's a girl. I was trying to ask her what was going on, but the Mac was over there trying to get him some, and I was just like, all right. Well, that's that same asshole that I was coming up to him, and he says, hey, don't come over here, bro. And I was like, what are you gonna do if I don't? If I do, you know? Are you armed? Are you gonna shoot me over this? So he had the cop there. Yeah, it's closed from 6 to 8. I was like, okay. I said, I'll just call, what's her name, the principal, and find out what's going on with that. Well, now she left. Yeah, I wasn't gonna wait around that long. Were you over there on that other field? It's like, yeah, I was. Well, you can't be there either. I'm gonna have to take you in. I was like, all right. So I guess I'll be spending the night in jail. guess I'll ask for trial by jury, see if they can throw the maximum amount at me. I just want a jury to figure this out. It's like, wait, it's like, we got murderers, rapists, and thieves going on, and we're trying this. It's like, yep. Our wonderful system at work. I'm thinking there might have been some vandalism. So our hypothesis is it was either vandalism or protecting of the field because of the rains. Those are my two working hypotheses. Hey, did somebody mess it up for the rest of everybody else?
No, like you said, it's just from 6 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the cars got keyed the other day. So
That's what it was.
Yeah. I think that's probably what it is, man.
Hey.
Yeah.
I mean, I figured either somebody tore up the field or somebody vandalized something.
Yeah.
Damn.
You must come out here every day.
I come out here on, every other Wednesday I do sprints.
Okay.
And I come here late at night, and like I said, I break the law. I jump the fence sometimes and start running around. I don't care, because I'm trying to get it in, but
yeah.
I figure if somebody's going to haul me off the jail, they haul me off the jail. I want to try by jury just to see what the jury would think of that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I understand. I ain't going to make it any difficult for you.
Yeah.
I was over there at Cary. I was running around it, so.
Okay.
But thanks for letting me know, officer.
No problem, brother.
Fucking asshole. No, it's just how it is, man. Just how it is. Yeah, like I said, that means that what he told me. That means he ain't staying. He'll be a month. He'll be here a month and a half tops. And it's back to the good old. But the guys over there, they'll say, "Hey, man, don't be coming around here. We're gonna call the cops." I'm like, "Call the cops. Thanks for the warning, but call the cops." I don't give a shit. I'll be pissed I gotta spend a night in jail, but you know. Like I told him, I was like, I just want to see what jury would sit there and say. Just my luck that I'd get 12 idiots. Well, there's all there, you ain't supposed to be there, so don't be there. Alright, dopey dog. All the times you've driven home drunk, pulled tags off of mattresses, broke the law in some stupid little way. You can't honestly sit there and look at me and tell me you believe in that law. Somebody, was he supposed to tell me that? Nobody cares. He doesn't care. I thought it was a girl. It was a guy. I was like, oh, okay. I just saw the back of the head. I was like, oh, okay. The dude in the white truck, that must have been his truck. They keyed. Which means it happened before, which is why he told me not to come. I don't know. His abrasive personality seems like he probably pisses off a lot of people. But you can't come here. Well, I could come here during the day. 6 o'clock in the morning. The reason I say that's impossible is because I gotta go to work tomorrow. So, wait, let's see. I can do it Tuesday. I don't know, I can't do it Tuesday. I mean, from Tuesday night to Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, go do the sprints. The kids will be out of school soon, that's all I'm saying. Or I could just start running around the park. Sprints don't have to, like I was saying, sprints don't have to be an overly complicated affair. You find you a long stretch of you find you a stretch of land that doesn't seem like it has any pivot, any dips or holes in it, and run like a madman, get those knees up. Worst comes to worst, I guess I had to start doing that stupid HIIT thing that everyone talks about. High intensity and interval training. Or every once in a while you see this crazy guy just sprinting on concrete. I don't want to go back to that again. I was like, why are you doing sprints anyway? They come in handy. It's for quick bursts. Like sometimes you sit there and just a little thing like sprints allow you to it's not just, like I said, the hills are for endurance and the sprints are just a little bit for speed. So every once in a while, there's a situation where you're going to have to run super fast away from it or toward it. And that's what sprints do. Sprints allows you to do that without killing yourself, and you're sitting there for like 5 minutes. Like, staying healthy is a job. 20 hours a week. 10 to 20 hours a week is what you is. If you're doing it right, you got to put in, you have to put in 10 to 20 hours a week. You do cardio for an hour a day, 5 days a week, maybe 4 days a week. Let's give you a little breather. 4 days a week, that's 4 hours. Then you got to do a workout, maybe for 30 minutes to an hour, 3 or 4 days a week, 90 minutes. So I guess that's 4 hours and 90 minutes. It's 5 hours and 30 minutes. That would be like the absolute minimum, and you'd have a flabby but pretty stable body. Like, it would be it'd be grandma going to the grocery store. She'd be all right. But you want a borderline baseline body, that's fine. But you want a body that, you know, is designed to work at least 10 to 20 hours. Part-time double cross. Because what I'm saying at that point is you're putting in 5 days a week, an hour. That's 5 hours right off the bat right there. And then you're putting in 90 minutes a day on your lifts. An hour to 90 minutes. And it always takes me longer because leg days just take longer. I guess what I'm also throwing into the mix is you have to drive to these locations. That's where the 10 hours comes in. You see me here, I have to walk to the location and walk back, so that adds. For me, it's an hour. I add an hour to do 30 minutes worth of sprints, and seems stupid, doesn't it? It's just the way life is, man. Life is stupid. Life is stupid. Yeah. Like I said, dude's car got keyed, so they got to have a cop sit there for a couple weeks. So my whole thing is, so he's off duty, and he gets paid overtime to come over here and do this. Oh shit. Looks like this one's almost out. That's funny. Both the camera battery and the light battery went out right around the same. That is perfect. That is the way you want it to happen. That is if you had all your backups with you. See, I just heard it too, man. I just lost the. It's gone. You guys will be like, "What you doing on my property?" I'm like, I lost the cap to my screw. There it is. Boy, I got lucky. Well, that's all I do, man. Is put these damn things back together again. All right, so let's take my. How do astronauts do this? They don't have nuts this small. Most of the stuff they design it to where it's like, look, the guy with the glove's going to have to fix this from in outer space. He's like, can you guys come up with just a big giant nut to put on there? That's the insane requirements. It has to be this, it has to weigh this much. It has to survive this kind of temperature. It has to tighten in this way. It has to be made up, and it has to cost this much. Space travel is the pinnacle of what an engineer can do. That's why so many people love Star Trek. Like I said, that's why so many STEM guys love Star Trek. It's just like, can you imagine being challenged like that? Instead of, you go to work, well, our focus group didn't really like the color of the thingamawidget. Can you guys make it periwinkle blue? Sure. Hey, I told this guy we can build it for this much money. Can we do that? No. You're hoping idiots either save money or make stuff look good. You're not. You are not challenging the laws of physics in any meaningful way. It's depressing. I know a guy who he's got a degree in mechanical engineering, and he's a sales manager at an air conditioning company. I got a degree in computer science, and I'm a computer tech. Because I don't know Ruby on the Rails and Python and Perl. It's like, wait a minute, why would you have to know Python and Perl? Some Linux commands are written in Perl. Web development kits are written in Python. Go figure. They want the Superman to come in and know 5 programming languages, because the guy who just left, he knew 5 programming languages, but when he first started there, he knew 0 programming languages, and kind of put together something in spaghetti code. And they will pay you the grand sum of less than market value. Well, do you think you can do this job? No. Or we're looking for a guy who has all these. We're looking for Superman, and we don't want to pay him anything. You just want to laugh in their face, but you got to be professional. Professionals learn to laugh on the inside. Behind a stern, unemotional business-like appearance is a man laughing his ass off at your corporation, at your organization. Can you be a professional? Yes. Will I be a professional? No. Professional is just another way of saying neutered drone. It's like, you want a professional, build a robot. Robots are professional 24/7. And I realize a professional can know a lot of things and help you with a lot of things, but if you yourself don't know what you want, the professional is just a waste of money. He sits there and he says, what do you want it to do? I don't know. What do you think it should do? When the professional has to ask you all these questions, you really haven't thought out what you want, and that's where you start wasting time and money. It ain't like the movies, man, where the guy comes up here and he says you have to go here. Here's the path of the such and such. Here's the dossier on all the people. You will be at half when the job starts and half when it's completed. Are there any questions? It's like, no, you've answered them all. do is come in here and do what I do. Somebody's gonna look at me on YouTube and they're like, I can't believe the stuff you tell cops. And I'm just like, yeah, the truth is funny that way. Like I said, I was telling homeboy, I was like, hey man, I can walk down the street. There's an undeveloped surface. And he was just looking around trying to find any reason to, well, you can go over here. And I was like, no, I can't. That's an undeveloped surface. You twit. That's where I get the Billy Bob dumbasses on YouTube comments. You showed them that you're a complete and utter moron. I was like, no, the moron made the comment. The moron doesn't know the law. You are a moron because you blindly follow the cops. Anyway, you want to retaliate like that and you're just like you said, arguing with somebody on the internet is like winning the Special Olympics. It's not exactly the most politically correct statement, but it gets the point across. Even if you win, you're still retarded. I saw that one time on the internet and I was like, that's fucked up, but it's true. I was like, yes, I proved my point to nobody. And nobody made a comment, and you made a comment back, and you've already lost the battle. And it was weird, all the responses I got. It was like, one of the guys I worked with, he just, and this white guy, man, old white guy, hippie, like hippie type from the 60s and 70s, free spirit. And I mean, he got all kinds of riled up, and I was just like, dude. I was like, I was kind of pissed that the guy did this. He said, yeah, man, them fucking cops, they're always giving me a hard time, man. And he starts telling me stories about being at the convenience store. Some cop in a small town harassing him because he was smacking on the girl that the cop liked. So, go figure. What was the phrase that one of my guys that I used to work with at the call center, at a call center, the stock trading place, he said he had an accident that damaged his short-term memory, and he had spots of amnesia, and he started recalling things, and so that was part of his therapy, was to try to recall things. And he started telling us all the stuff that he started recalling. And some of his anecdotes were pretty funny. He had one where he said, it's always military guys too, man. They get really fucked up. Every military guy I know has gotten fucked up in some way, either while they were in there or as a civilian. Anyway, his statement was, he says, yeah, I had a flashback to drill camp, or yeah, I guess they call it drill camp or whatever. But back when he was training. He said, I remember saying to my my instructor, wearing that uniform doesn't make you right, sir. He said, so he said his whole, what do they call it? It's either company or squad, but the bottom line is his whole group. The whole group had to run because he said that. Wearing that uniform don't make you right, sir. No, it don't. But it does let me. It does allow me to make you guys run until you can't walk no more. I mean, you can't move. It's kind of weird though when they tell these guys, like law enforcement, military guys, they tell them the truth. They're like, look, man, you're just here to to make sure that shit doesn't go completely off the rails. But when it comes down to it, when it gets that bad, save your own ass. Or, you know, justice and law and order and the rules of engagement don't really matter all that much when it's who's going to survive. If I tried hard enough, I'd probably jump across that gap without even taking a step down. I'm 40-something years old, work a desk job. I have no intentions of ever playing any kind of professional sport ever again. I do well just to do that one step. So the cop really doesn't care that I'm out here this late at night. He said, "You come by here every day?" And I was like, "No, I come out here once every other week." Why am I repeating it? The video's going to show I was there. Is that the highlight of your day? No, the ducks were. The cop was just a mild annoyance that feeds into my already never-ending depression. No, the ducks was a pleasant surprise. It was just like I'm running and all of a sudden, whack, whack, whack. I was like, what the hell? Somebody's dog's gonna have a good time. That was fun, man. I'm running through that boggy stuff and the water's just splashing all over me. At first I wasn't trying to get my socks wet, and then I stepped in it and I was like, well, I was like, guess what? We're reverting to 5-year-old mode. I think if there was a camera on, it'd look pretty badass. Just me high stepping, water splashing everywhere. It's the kind of thing you can't explain to people who don't exercise. You're just like, there are moments when it's 60 degrees outside after a rainstorm. You go out for a run, and there's a gigantic puddle, and there's another gigantic puddle. And you just start running through it, and you just don't give a shit anymore. Splish splash. There are moments when you're running in the rain and the rain's just pouring down. You're putting one foot in front of the other. And after you get over the initial discomfort of the water soaking everything and weighing you down a little bit, you start feeling pretty good. The air is cool and crisp. The rain keeps your body temperature down so you can go faster and faster without overheating. The salty warm sweat mixes in with it, and all of a sudden you feel like you're in a mobile sensory deprivation tank. Nothing else matters. Everything just melts away. Those moments are why sometimes I keep going. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go home and take off some wet socks and take some wet shoes and hope that they dry out before Friday. If they don't, I'll just be putting on some warm, soggy shoes. That doesn't feel good at all. 80 degrees outside and you're putting on your shoes and they're still kind of wet. They're not cold wet, they're warm wet. The cool thing is it doesn't matter what happens to my outfit. Hell, it doesn't even matter if I got covered in mud. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. When I go home and everybody, and my mother sees me like that, it's like, oh my God. But I do kind of miss that. Now you're playing a football game and you come home and you're sitting there and you're just covered in mud. But it was a fun game. It's not fun when it's below 40 degrees and you're covered in cold mud. Problem with mud is it sticks to you, and then when it sticks, it's like it massages the muscles, and so if it's cold mud, all of a sudden you cramp up. Because it's extra weight, and then you get all cold, and then you can't warm up, and then your muscles are working extra hard, and then as long as you stay warmed up, the mud's not that big of a deal, but as soon as you cool off. It becomes so cynical that boating is a chore. I go under the hypothesis they're all liars, and then it's up to them to prove me wrong. Actually, they're not. They're lying to you. They're not lying to the people that give them the money. They're very truthful to those people. You can tell people whatever they want to hear. Yeah, I'll do this. Yeah, I'll do that. No, I'm against this. No, I'm against that. You get in there and you can do whatever you want after that. No, when I said I wasn't going to do this, I lied. It's like, but you have to get reelected. Yes, but the incumbent has the company always has it easier than the challenger that comes up there. Even if the incumbent is woefully unpopular, he's still known. And the challenger that comes up, he has to keep proving that he's somehow better than the other guy, even though he hasn't done the job yet. And the incumbent gets up there and debates, and he starts exposing the reality of what it's like to do the job. And then the challenger cringes because he sounds like he doesn't know what he's talking about. To cite an example, when Mitt Romney was parroting something about how the United States Navy doesn't build destroyers, or no, they don't. The United States Navy only has one battleship. And then Obama just tore him to shreds and said, I was like, the United States military also doesn't have horses and bayonets. He's like, look, man, I was in the briefings. You're giving these guys battleships they're not asking for because your grandfather was serving on the USS Iowa and you just thought that was a great ship and you wanted to build more of those. And it's like the Navy doesn't need them. And so we got aircraft carrier and missile destroyers, and battleships obsolete, man. Being able to fire, on an enemy from 20 miles away 30 miles away doesn't really mean anything when you got GPS and drones that can fly 1,000 miles. You have GPS, drones that can fly 1,000 miles, and missiles that can hit a target from 1,000 miles away. You took the swimming pool maker and you gave it wings. One of these days, man, I'm gonna be coming out here, and it's gonna be me and 5 other dudes. This is gonna be like, I'm gonna be like, man, there's a lot of people out here. That ain't a prediction. That's just, that looks like that's what's gonna start happening. It's just, I won't be the only stupid motherfucker out here. There will be other people. Sometimes I'm coming home at 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I look over and there's dudes. I was like, okay. Jogging at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's dangerous but neat. Dude I work with, he goes home, and he was going home at midnight. He was running. I was like, that's kind of dangerous. It's like, I thought so too. And then there was other people with me. I was like, oh. You go to Central Park in New York, and at any hour there'll probably be somebody there. That was another interesting theory the guy was pointing out, why crime might have gone down in New York. And he had an interesting hypothesis, and he was saying that they started using unleaded gasoline. They started taking lead out of gasoline, and suddenly crime rates all around the United States went down. Lead poisoning causes the crazies. Interesting theory. Plausible. Everybody's trying to take credit, but when it might have just been a combination of things. At the end of the day, though, I think a lot of people were pissed off until about the 1980s, and then they were just plain fucking tired.